Good evening. Welcome to Chicago City Life Center. As you can see, Pastor Moody is not recording today, but the other Pastor Moody is here. He will be back with you next week. Before we go on, I just have a few announcements for you. Every single Tuesday, we have men's Bible study at 5 o'clock. Men, come on out and fellowship and just get deeper in the Word with other men. Ladies as well, at 5:30, we have Bible study. And then we have the youth here on Tuesdays at 7 in person at 7 o'clock with Pastor Chuck. So make sure you join us for that. We are back on Wednesdays to prayer every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Zoom. So join us for prayer. Those of you that came out during the week of fasting and prayer, make sure you keep on coming out once a week to join us for prayer. There is power when there's a multitude of us praying together. And then on Friday, we have Street Team. We meet here at 6 o'clock, and we go onto the streets where we get to minister to people, feed people physical food and spiritual food, and pray for them at the same time. So if you're interested, make sure you come on out, meet us here at 5501 South LaSalle at 6 p.m. to go on out with us. And then on Sunday, we have Sunday school as well at 10:30 first with Brother Mike. And then our Sunday morning service starts at 11:30. We would love to have you here with us. All right. So those are all the announcements. And now we're going to go on to the message for today. Here in Chicago City Life Center, we have a theme for the year. And our theme is anchored. The verse that we follow for this theme is 1 Corinthians 11:1. It simply says, "Follow me as I follow Christ." And it's so important. Man, we are living in the times where we can turn so many people away from Christ. But if we follow Christ and we live this thing out on what it means to be a believer, then we will draw more people onto Christ by our lives, by the way we live our lives. You know, we just finished our series on the book of Acts. And the person that we talked about the most was, of course, Paul. And Paul was willing to be used by Christ. He died to self. And then to top it off, he knew that there was going to be a cost. He was warned that there will be a cost, that there will be a cost for following Christ. I remember at one point when we were going over the series, somebody was shown a vision of him being tied hand and foot, being captured for sharing the gospel. And even Paul being shown this, did not deter him. No, it pushed him to go further, to go even more and do what he was called to do, which is to share the gospel. You know, for me, I know for personally, when I was first called to teach, there was a price to pay. I was in the inner city, and the students that I always, every single year, when I started teaching in the public schools, I always had the hardest classes. And in those hard classes, it was basically time for me to die to myself. It was time for me to depend on God, to have God guide me through, lead me through, speaking life into these students. And I promise you, when I died to self and stopped trying to do what I wanted to do and do what God wanted me to do in the classroom, students were, turning their lives around, coming even to church with me, and just walking this walk the way they knew how to. And then I remember when God called me from teaching into full-time ministry. Man, I was so skeptical. I was like, there's so much that I can do, that I need to do. And I had to count the cost. It cost me something. It cost me not retiring and having a teacher's pension. It cost me not having a backup plan, not having the insurance that I want to have, not having the security that I wanted to have. But I look back on it, and even now, like, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to depend on God, to die to self. I think about the song that says,
Let praises rise is the title of the song. And this is what is part of the song. It says, all I want is for you to be glorified, for you to be lifted high. Fill my life till all they see is you, Lord. Glorify your name. Fill my heart till all they see is you, Lord. Glorify your name. And that is the desire of my heart for every single believer, that we will want to lift up God more than we want to lift up our own agendas, that we will want to lift up God more than we want to lift up anything in this world, and that we will be anchored in Christ, that no matter what happens, that we will be so anchored in Christ that whenever anything happens, that is what is flowing out of us, is the Christ in us. God bless you, and I pray that in 2021 that we will be so anchored in Christ that nothing will sway us away from him, that nothing will have us sway other people away from God. God bless you. Thank you for joining us.